Well, I was going to do this on my little video camera, but it ran out of memory. So I'm just moving over to my phone, which I realize sometimes doesn't have the best audio. So I'll try to speak clearly. I've just been showing the garden along here. The sweet woodruff spreading below the Camellia sinensis and the chase tree, and the elder that's starting to bloom. I got a couple of echinaceas here, some Shasta daisies, some little tiny, what do you call them? Morning glory. One of them is a cardinal climber at the base of the post there. Asian persimmon, strawberries ripening a little at a time. In here is a hodgepodge of comfrey and red seed poppies and sunflowers. There's a nice bumblebee. They like the comfrey. I swear I have not been seeing as many pollinators this year, which is a little bit unnerving. Anyway, the eggplant are growing. I almost think that the eggplant in the pot are doing better than the one in the planter, but we'll see with this hot weather, because it's going to be hot today through Sunday in the upper 80s and into the 90s even. So yeah, yuzu is putting out some nice growth. This is an apothecary rose that I got from Wren the garden witch, one of the suckers from hers, so I've got that planted there. Little gooseberries, corralled the mint a little bit, as much that I can. All the trees except for this pomegranate are doing pretty well, and it's got growth on it, so I'm just going to leave it and see what happens. All of the raspberries here blossoming, so I'm excited about that. This is one of the determinate tomatoes. Well, actually there's two in here because they were sort of left over from the seeds I started. It's called Purple Rain, a beefsteak variety. Garden peas, English peas are starting to form, so that's exciting. All these tomatoes, which that's a prairie fire, which is kind of a Roma shape, and the rest of these are black strawberry and black cherry. They're liking this warm weather, which is good. The cilantro is going to flower, but that's all right. Some rhubarb in here, parsley, some strawberries as well. Onions are growing here, and these are some Thai basil. I'm gonna have to give them some space. More sunflowers, butternut squash in there that I need to give a cage for, or support of some kind. All these, I'm not sure I like these. So these are the rat tail radishes, which you grow for the seed pods. But I think the seed pods from regular radishes, even though they don't get as big as this, taste better. They're just like super sharp. Shiso in there, both Korean shiso and purple shiso. There's some Anaheim chilies down there. And there's okra here and there, which are still very small. And my basil is still pretty small. That's okay, this hot weather will kick it up. Red mustard, kale, and this arugula's, I'm just like picking it for the blossoms to eat now. I'm probably going to take it out soon and do another planting somewhere else. Cucumbers are doing pretty well. I still need to thin them a little bit. I don't need that many in here. And the dill is doing pretty great behind it. More of the Purple Rain tomatoes. And my bush beans that were chewed off a little bit, probably by deer. it happens. The summer squash are finally growing. They've been trying to put blossoms on when they're so tiny, and I've just been pulling the blossoms off so that they grow bigger. The plants, these are all Japanese eggplant, and that's diatomaceous earth for the flea beetles. They just need to like put on some growth, and then the flea beetles won't matter so much. Pimento peppers are doing pretty well. That's a shishito pepper, and a couple more Anaheim. My sorrel's looking kind of bedraggled. It's going to seed. And the breadseed poppies are looking more and more like they're gonna bloom soon, so I'm very excited. Of course, all the buckwheat is blooming. This horseradish is quite robust. The sweet peas are finally getting big enough to kind of climb on this trellis. And I've got one hollyhock that's starting to bud. Of course, it's got rust like it always does in a humid climate. It can't be helped. Even if I don't water it overhead, it gets rained on. Lots more poppies. Of course, California poppies are out there. And the Tajit's lucida. Oh look, it's gonna start to bloom soon. Nice, I love the smell of this stuff. And there's some rue in here. And the nigella is getting ready to bloom. Larkspur is blooming. I love those California poppies. They're so pretty, pretty, pretty. Of course, the bronze fennel is growing like crazy, like it always does. Figs are growing. The daylilies are getting buds on them, but I did see over here that the deer were eating them. I've got to thin my angelica more in here. Maybe leave like 3 plants. These volunteer, I just had to leave these volunteer sunflowers, and I have to say they're doing much better than the ones I started from seed. This is a mammoth here. That one's doing the best of those. These in here are called, I believe it's called Toyo. We've got the milkweed budding, chamomile. I've got one of my Mexican sunflowers doing pretty well there. I've got a couple of little lavender out there that are just about to bloom, but it's hard to grow lavender here just because of the moisture. At least it is for me. I put in some marjoram right there. Carrots and beets. Covered up the lettuce salad greens because the deer got them yesterday, so I'm trying to see if I can save some of them, and the cloth will help because it's so hot today. Lots more breadseed poppies getting ready to bloom. There's some Queen Anne's lace in there, zinnias, baby echinaceas. Echinaceas already getting ready to bloom. Some new skullcap, because I had skullcap planted over there underneath the wood chips, and it didn't really come back. Rosa rugosa. This is a red bee balm. The other ones I have are like more of a magenta. Another Mexican sunflower, borage. I put board seed in here in different places. Valerian, cosmos, sunflowers, catnip that something is eating, but that's all right. I don't know what's, anyway, whatever. Things get eaten. I put a mullein in there. I got a new one because I didn't see any come up this year. And there's a few echinaceas. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. And the anise hyssop is getting ready to bloom too. There's a lot of different, mostly flowers, but some kind of flower herbs in here. Wormwood that I got on sale because it was like a Charlie Brown plant. This one's doing much better than this one, but that's okay. I got some new St. John's wort here. I planted one, and I planted another one over here because the one that I have is looking like it's starting to peter out. It's done well for about 3 years, and now it's just, I can see it's not as robust as it used to be, so I figured I'd get some replacements. And I had some leftover seedlings of bread seed poppies that were still growing, but they didn't look great, but I stuck them in there anyway. Agrimony, motherwort, which I don't need to pick because I have plenty of motherwort tincture. Lots of it, actually. More valerian. Oh, there's a little pollinator. Yay! Some more Queen Anne's lace there. Of course, there's comfrey everywhere. Lady's mantle. These foxgloves are starting to bloom. I wanted to get more to fill in this whole area here, but I never got to it. Pansy's looking well. Meadow sweet's looking really well. These are kind of hanging on there, these delphiniums. I've got a few nasturtiums coming up in here. It's the leftovers from the daffodils. I'm watching here because there's a chicken of the woods that I didn't know that's what it was. Came up right around here every year, but I'm seeing people on the Mushroom Hunters page that are finding them already, but mine never came up until about July, August. So this is my native hibiscus, big white flowers on it. It's a goldenrod I got to put in there. And these are the blackberries. I have this thought, I hate mowing along the berm here. It's just stupid and it's hard because that's a pretty steep it's pretty steep there. And I was thinking it'd be cool to somehow terrace it or something so I could plant, I was thinking it'd be fun to plant red clover all along here. Then the deer can just come up to the red clover and stay there and eat that instead of everything else. Although I'm not sure that would work. Here's my big old red oak tree. Love this tree. Still would like to put a swing underneath here. Haven't done that yet either. So many things. Oh, I've got so many ideas. So many ideas, but not enough physical strength and not enough money to hire somebody to do it, let alone the materials. Lots of black currants on this guy here. This is the clove-scented black currant. Lots of berries on there. This one's doing pretty well too. Not as many berries, but it's got a few. And in these pots I put Viola odorata roots that I bought because they're all the other violas. Viola, I can't remember the name of it. It's a native and it doesn't have a scent. They're pretty, but that's about it. So I wanted to keep the Viola odorata separate and see how those do. Rose canina are looking good. I'm not sure if they're gonna bloom. The peonies have done really well this year. They like all the sunshine. Gooseberries got some on here and there. Not as much as I'd like, but whatever. Sweetgrass. Hops are doing great along here. Some motherwort that naturalized itself right here. This fig, I think this fig is a different variety than the ones out front. I don't think it's a brown turkey. I'm getting the passion vine to finally grow towards the trellis. Lots of blossoms on this blackberry here. And this is the muscadine. This rose is doing nicely, except for whatever was eating the leaves. But this is a climbing rose, so I gotta figure out what I'll do for that. And I think all this space is actually mine here. So I'm thinking about getting a big long container like the ones I have out front and doing, I don't know, maybe keeping my St. John's wort over here or something. I don't know, I haven't decided. But that's an idea I have, another idea. And out back, status quo, lots of nettle seed. The bleeding heart plants have totally overgrown. Mulberry with no fruit this year. Oh well, maybe next year. Extra cherry tomatoes back here. Solomon seal's doing very well. And these grapes are doing well. Well, they never set fruit. A couple more figs because you can't have too many figs. Oh, and I have all kinds of ideas for out here, but oh my God, like I said, maintenance just kind of takes all my energy. So yeah, so that's the garden, like third week in May, almost.